Okay, we're now live on Facebook and we are recording live. This Zoom meeting is being recorded for training and quality assurance and content purposes. Be aware. And with that, welcome everyone to Real Estate Friday with Daylon Rubito and special guest today. I'm going to let him introduce our in-house attorney, Martha. Daylon, tell us what we have today on tap for Real Estate Friday.
All right, Steve, thank you so much for the intro and welcome everybody to Real Estate Friday, like Steve said. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Daylon Rubido. I'm the real estate broker for the BrokerNation Real Estate Derail branch. And we're super happy to have been doing this now for some time. And we always want to bring to you the best, the latest information, the processes, how things work, and how you can implement that in your business. And who better to talk about closing process, disclosures, what the title company is involved with in the transaction, then our in-house counsel and also our in-house title company, Nations Trust, and the owner, Martha Pozo. Martha, how are you?
Hello, Daylon. Nice to see you. Happy Friday to everybody. And I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to discuss this. I understand that for some of your more experienced agents, this is kind of a information that they already have or that they already know, but it's always nice to get like a refresher on the actual closing process. So Steve, could I start? There is some presentation materials that I emailed you, and I'd like to either you can distribute that now or you could distribute that after I'm done, because that'll serve as an aid for the brokers and with the whole closing process.
Okay.
I also would like to start sharing my screen.
Yeah, go ahead. You should be able to share from the bottom of your screen there.
Okay, hold on. Can you see this? Oh, not yet. Hold on. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
It says
yes, we can.
Closing process. You see that?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hold on. Again, I know that I sound, some of you who listen to these presentations, who listen to these presentations every week, I kind of sound like a broken record. And but I truly believe that the knowledge is power, that the more informed you are, the better of an asset you are to your clients. And at this moment in time that we are seeing in the real estate market, I cannot stress to you how important it is to be fully educated on your business. And I come across this on a daily basis on realtors that are not informed. So it's very important that if you don't know, that you get that knowledge. And again, I always stress Daylon, Steve, Ray, those people that are here to help you take advantage of those assets that you have to make sure that you are educated, because in today's market and what's going on, that's the only way you're going to get business, because it's a cutthroat world out there, and you have to be that asset to your client. So let's start. I didn't introduce myself. I know Ray did, Daylon did a good job, but I am Martha Pozo-Diaz, and I've been a real estate attorney. I usually don't like to date myself, but I think it's going on almost 30 years that I've been doing this. So pretty much I've seen a lot of things in Miami-Dade and Broward County, Florida. So if I have a lot of knowledge, and if I don't have the knowledge, I know where I can get that knowledge. So please take down my information, and I'll put that information is in that handout material. I work best by email, so please feel free to email me with any of your questions or any if you need any information, I'm happy to help. So closing process. Everybody knows, once we all look for that, once that contract is executed by all parties. And this sounds pretty basic. I mean, this sounds very easy, get that contract executed. Now, the problem is you need to make sure you have an executed contract. What do you mean by an executed contract? You know, make sure that everything is initialed where it needs to be initialed. Something as basic as where you're going to put the seller's name and where you're going to put the buyer's name, where you're going to put the seller's initials and the buyer's initials. That's very basic. But I still see agents who've been doing this for a couple of years. They get the seller and the buyer's name in the wrong place in the contract. Just pay attention to those small details, which are very, very important. Contracts need to be initialed at the bottom of each page in your FAR/BAR contract. In the form simplicity form, you have initials at the bottom of each page. I still get contracts that are missing initials. You know, if these contracts get taken to court, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a problem. So please, when you're filling out those contracts, make sure that contracts are signed on all the pages and they're initialed everywhere they need to be initialed. Once a contract is executed, then we receive the contract from the BrokerNation agent. At that time, I really asked for as much information as you can provide to me. When I say, what information do I need the buyer's contact information. If the buyer is married, if the buyer is single, the seller's contact information, the listing agent, your information, your email address. The more information I have, the more I can represent the deal and do it with knowledge. I'm not waiting till the day of closing to find out whether the person is married, whether the person is single, whether the person is in New York and they can't sign the documents on the day of closing. So pay attention to all those emails that you receive initially when that file is open, so you can give us all that information. Once I get that information, I open up my file. Usually you need an escrow. Your client needs to deposit an initial deposit, and you ask me for my wire instructions. Very important to ask for wire instructions because your client needs to know where to send them, and everybody knows, which has been the trending topic for the past 10 years, wire fraud. So let them get the instructions from me. Do not send the instructions out because there's a high incidence of wire fraud. There's a lot of email phishing. There's a lot of email problems, and the crooks are out there. So let them get the instructions from me. If they get it from my system, it comes from a secure website. So there's less chance of it being, being wired, getting somebody diverting those instructions. Once that escrow deposit is made, we open up our file and we send out the escrow letter. So as soon as I have that wire cleared in my account, I go ahead and send out the escrow letter. My Qualia system, which I love, and I'm hoping that everybody has an opportunity to sign up with the Qualia system. It sends out that request for information to the parties. Dailan, you're familiar with this Qualia system, correct?
Yes, very familiar.
Okay, is it easy to use for you?
It is dummy proof, I would say. It is super easy.
Okay, how long does it usually take you to fill out the information that Qualia asks for?
I would say no more than a minute. Most of the information I always have it already, so it's a breeze just going through it real quick, and it'll take you step by step, until it's completed.
Okay,
so for the buyer or the seller, let me tell you.
I really appreciate, and it really makes the process so much easier to have realtors like Dailan who take out that. Let's say, Dailan, okay, I know that you've done this a couple times or a couple more, 100 times, that you do it in a minute, but let's say that it takes 10 minutes, okay? It's a very short time period to get that information, and it just makes the closing process so much easier for all the parties involved. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate all those BrokerNation realtors that take advantage of that program. Once I have all that contact, the Qualia sends out those information, and it provides information to the buyer, information to the seller. If the seller is represented by counsel, it'll send it to the seller's attorney. If I'm doing a seller representation, it sends it to the buyer's closing company. So there's initial contact made. Once we know that, you know, the property has appraised, that the inspections are done, and we're ready to move it into the title processing, I go ahead and order the title reports. I usually order the title reports, the lien letters, and the title search at the same time. I then order the survey and the estoppel. If they're required, a survey is required when it's not a condominium, and an estoppel letter is required when there's a condominium or an HOA. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Okay. So then after these reports are ordered, then I receive these reports. You know, now because of the way the market is going, it's taking a little bit longer than before. Before I used to get reports back in about 48 hours. It's now taking, you know, sometimes it could take a week, sometimes it could take, you know, 10 days. So be cognizant of the time periods, because that's important if you're under deadlines. Once I get those reports back, I review those reports, and I look to see if there's any issues that are on title that need to be addressed. If there's any payoffs that need to be requested, if there are any outstanding judgments, liens, there may be more complicated title issues. There may be a need for a quiet title action. And those are all things that are revealed from the title reports. You don't want to wait till the last minute before closing to find out that this closing is a dead deal because, you know, there's a wild deed in the chain of title, or there's a problem. So it is important to get these reports as soon as you know that this file is going to move to, you know, that there is a strong possibility that this file is going to be approved by the lender and the inspections have passed. So it's important to order those reports as soon as possible. Again, during all this time, we're working with the mortgage company, if there's a loan, to provide the lender with the information that they're requesting. They usually request a bunch of documents from us, including a closing protection letter, the title commitment, our wiring instructions. They ask for our insurances, and we provide. So during this time, we're working with the mortgage company, providing them all the information that that they require. We're also balancing with the lender with CD, and we're providing surveys and elevation certificates for insurances as they may be needed, if they're needed on a property. And we're finalizing all the documents. At that point, once the lender notifies that they're ready for closing, then we notify the parties and we schedule the closing. After the time people, Dailan, the closing process, okay, after the closing, people think, okay, that's it. Once we have a closing, we're done. But that's not really the truth. After the closing, there's a lot to do after closing. And the most important is to obtain funding authorization. Because you could have a closing, and if we don't have the lender's funding authorization, we have a big problem, because we don't have the authority to release the money from to the seller. If your seller doesn't get his money, he's not going to turn over the keys. So that's a big, in today's market, that's a big issue, because lenders are having to verify and re-verify employment and income up until the day of closing, or up until the date of funding. So you may have a closing that's not verified, and that could take 24 to 48 hours after closing for the lender to verify it. So please take note of that. And I think that those are important things to know to set your clients' expectations. Because if you're closing at 12 on a Friday and your client thinks he's going to get the weekend to move, and we're not going to get funding authorization until Monday, you're going to have your client very upset. So make sure that you set your client's expectations at the time, even before, when you're sitting down accepting the contract, you need to say, hey, listen, please note that even when we have a closing, this may not close 24 to 48 hours after, because we need to go through a funding authorization process. And these days it's taking a while.
Yep.
So the last after we get that funding authorization, which is very important, then we proceed to record the documents. And then 30 days later, or 30, 45, depending how we're doing here, we issue the title insurance policy we send the title insurance policy and the original deed over to your client, the buyer. And that's it. And that's it for the presentation. There's also that handout material. Oh, I just wanted to go through one more thing. Let me share on the presentation material. Hold on, let me see if I can.
And the presentation, the link to the handout that she's referring to is in the chat. So everyone check the chat if you want to download that material that goes along with it.
Yeah, and I've added on the presentation material, I've added some information that the mortgage company, some information that the mortgage company does, and some information that the BrokerNation broker should be doing. There may be things in there, Dailan, that you may want to add, but I did some basic stuff. And then at the bottom of that material, you have because a lot of realtors want to know what are their clients' costs when they're when they're doing this closing, or what are their costs of a purchase price. I welcome everyone to go to the Nations Trust title website, where they can get your own quote. And I did that a little while ago. And I welcome all realtors who need a quote for a transaction to get your quote on that website. And that'll take you directly to Qualia, to the real estate program.
What's the website, Martha, for everybody?
Yes? I'm sorry, Dailan?
What's the website so that everybody knows where to go?
nationstrusttitle.net.
Excellent.
And I'm happy to take anybody's question if anybody has some.
All right, excellent. I am in the website right now. I love it. It's really nice. It's really, to the point. And like you said, they can go ahead and do the process through there as far as Qualia goes, right? So that's excellent. Another thing I wanted to point out, I have here the information that you sent out, that link that Steve just shared too. The closing process, Nations Trust and Title Company. This is something good to keep in mind, guys. Like if you have a buyer's presentation or a seller's presentation, you want to include it in there. It's easier just to help them see it in the chart, how to go through it. And they kind of know, they have an idea, because they're going to have a lot of questions. And Martha just went through the closing process in what, 10, 15 minutes, but there's a lot that goes behind it. And there's a lot of questions. Now we know, but the buyer, our customers don't know. And they're going to have questions. They're going to have sometimes an obstacle as far as why should I pay this much, or what should I pay for this or that? And they think that they're being overcharged. But once they see that, or they realize that the fact that the title company is there to help us and to keep the client safe, right? So they need to understand that the process is not just, okay, I closed the house, I want my keys. No, there's a lot more that goes into it. And a lot of things happen right at the closing when they feel that they should move into the property, but they can't get the keys, or they can't move in until funding happens. And trust me, it has happened to me. It happens to a lot of agents. If you have a Friday closing, chances are most likely you won't be able to get the key on the same day, and they're going to be very, very upset. So I highly recommend, and thank you, Martha, for actually putting that together. But that's something that we can show the client and fix their expectation way ahead of closing time. That way they know exactly what to expect if any issues would arise right at closing time. So thank you so much for sharing that. Again, the presentation is easy to the point, but there's a lot that goes into it. Another thing,
Thank you for
thing, no, of course, Martha. Always happy to have you. And again, I'm loving the information. I'm actually gonna use it as part of my presentation when I sit down with a buyer or a seller.
Thank you.
In fact, you know what? There's we have a book. So the ultimate guide to becoming a top producing agent. There's more information about everything that Martha was talking about. It's here as well. Like I said, this is a guide, and most of it is how to help the client understand all these little details that go into a purchase early on to avoid any issues or hiccups throughout the transaction. So you want to have a very successful transactions every chance that you get. So I highly encourage you to check out the book, completely free. If you're part of the BrokerNation Real Estate, swing by, pick up a free copy of this, or go to dylanrubido.com and get your free digital version of it, completely free again. And Martha's information is actually here. So if you have any questions on how does the process go and what title company should I use? Can I use any title company? The answer is, why are you gonna go with somebody else other than the expert in this field? So we talk about her here, why should you use her, everything that they go through to help our customers, our clients, and help you be the superstar for your customer. So Martha, once again, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you for that presentation, very good.
Thank you, Dylan.
All right, thank you everybody else for joining us today for Real Estate Friday. Stay tuned, we have a lot more training coming up. Join us on Monday for Mindset Monday. So register for that. We are implementing other types of trainings too. Like if you're new in the real estate and you want to know, how do I fill out a contract, how to do this, and a lot of questions, how do I answer this, how to do buyer presentation, seller presentation, stay tuned because we're going to have a lot of trainings coming up. They're going to be recorded, they're going to be live, so stay tuned for that as well. Steve, do we have anything else coming up that you want to?
Yes, I've gotten a lot of requests lately to reboot, asking when we're going to be rebooting the Chime and the marketing and lead generation training. And the answer is soon. I don't have an exact date yet, but we will be rebooting that very shortly. So stay tuned at BrokerNation.events. And as Daylon mentioned, we have Mindset Monday coming up Monday morning. Every Monday, some great information that Daylon drops, motivation, tips, strategies, tactics, always good stuff, a great way to start the week. And Daylon, we had a great monthly meeting this past week. For those of you that are not BrokerNation agents, ask us. We'll maybe give you some information and send you some stuff about our culture and maybe share some pictures and things like that. I will be sharing some private pictures and video with some of our internal people shortly on some of our private channels, like our WhatsApp group chat and our private YouTube and things like that.
Excellent. Yeah. Also, another thing I wanted to mention real quick. So most of you are on the WhatsApp chat that we have. Armando actually earlier, I think it was today or yesterday, he shared a link. I would love for you guys to go check it out. We're having a new system implementing in our company that will help you get more clients to send you business, be on top of mind, how to be relevant. So check it out. It's by us, BrokerNation Real Estate, and it's been sponsored by Happy Grasshopper. So if you want to know what that is, go check it out. It's really awesome. It's really good. And we got it at a very, very, very affordable for everybody to take advantage of. So go check it out. We're going to resend the link in a few minutes. And we're going to send out an email with the PDF that Martha put together. We're going to share it with you guys along with Martha's information. So feel free to reach out to her team. They'll be more than happy to help you with anything title related or even legal. Right, Martha?
That's right. We'll be here to help. I can't stress you enough. Send me emails because the emails I get to answer them, and I usually answer them within 24 hours. Okay. So that's the best way to communicate with me. Thank you.
Excellent. Perfect. All right, everybody. How about
Before we leave, Martha, do you want to drop your email in the chat for everyone? And if you guys are interested, we can also include that in our follow-ups. Anyone that is on this call and wants to get some recordings, hit us up, steve@brokernation.net. I always love to hear from you all. Or you all can email Daylon also at daylon@brokernation.net. Steve@brokernation.net, Daylon@brokernation.net.
it kind of
Yes, my information is also on that handout on the bottom of the left-hand column at the bottom. You have all the websites and all the email addresses, okay?
Perfect. Thank you, Martha.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everybody. So have a wonderful Friday. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Let's start.
Happy Friday, guys. Happy Friday.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, gallery view. Everybody wave goodbye. Have a great weekend. And we're out.
Bye all.
Bye, all.